Hello everybody, I'm TG, and today I'm going to be going through the career mode run of Pursuit Force for the PSP, and helping me commentate this run is my good friend Viper. How you doing?
Hello. Hello.
So Pursuit Force is a PSP exclusive released in 2005 in Europe and then 2006 in North America. The gameplay is that you play as an action movie cop, and you're going to be jumping from car to car, shooting the bad guys. And there's also on foot and chopper gunner sections, and those are the basically three pillars of the gameplay. Career mode percent is we load a profile which has a 0% completion. I have a run file here that I'm going to load up, which already has a bunch of options set up to my liking and autosave disabled. Time starts when we go here and press X on career, and it's going to end when we get the defeated cutscene on the final boss, Monster Toshima. So this is quite a long run. My estimated time for this run is 2 hours 10 minutes, and that should cover anything bad happening. But without further ado, let's go. 3, 2, 1, go!
And straight in with the warlords.
Yeah. So, do you want to explain the plot, quote-unquote, of this game, Viper?
Well, brief is... It's kind of a funny plot, but the long story short, there's havoc in Capital City. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, Capital State.
Capital State, that's it, thank you. So there's a lot of trouble going down in Capital State, and regular police ain't gonna cut it. So we need a special team known as Pursuit Force. Hence the reason this game. Instead, everything about the game and the character. Our main character is simply known as the cop. There's no real, honestly, they could have come up with a much better name, like Frank or something, I don't know. But either way, so you play as literally a guy called the cop, or you can just call him, you can just say the cop for general purposes. Anyway, so, to kind of give a bit of context, so there's 5 gangs, they're all wreaking havoc within Capital State, and it's up to you to take them all down. Now, there's 5 gangs in total. We're starting with the Warlords, since they're one of the first 2 gangs that you have unlocked at the start of the game. You have Warlords, which are basically a bunch of army renegades that are out to, I guess, nuke Capital State.
Yeah, cause general havoc.
Yeah, pretty much. And because they have experience from being in the army and whatnot, you also have the honorable mention of a guy called the General, or Sergeant Thompson, or Colonel Thompson, or whatever he's called.
I don't think he gets named until the sequel.
Yeah, but either way, you have the main what's he called now? The General is basically like the main boss, or the main hierarchy, if you want to call him that, like the guy who's top of the pile that you have to take down. The next one of the other families that we'll be going to, and the other one that's unlocked at the start of this game, is called the Capelli family. And long story short, they are not too friendly. And they're like a mafia style, I always say like mafia or Godfather style family or gang. Most of their weaponry and things like that is sort of, it's a bit of a mix, but it's basically, I'm pretty sure they don't have Tommy guns in this game, but if they could, then they would, I'm sure. Because let's be honest, the entirety of the Capelli family are just people from the 50s. The gangsters, like, well, 40s, 50s. Speaking of, like, people in the 40s and 50s, take a look at Leone over here.
One of the best characters in the game.
By far, like, this is a character that you only meet once, but he has such an everlasting impression. He has on me and TG especially, and he's very quotable. Especially even if you don't play this game enough, like you don't play it over and over, it's still one of them cases where he is a bit of a laugh as well. And I think personally, one of the unique things, not about Leone or the Capelli family, but the game in general, is that depending on which gang you're doing a mission in will depend on the soundtrack. And the soundtrack, I think, is one of the unique things. Yes, okay, there's only like 5, maybe 6 soundtracks if you include the menu. 7 if you include
10 if you include the boss themes.
And the boss themes, yeah. So it's probably more, I think, so if you have the menu, main menu, the credits, and then all the gangs plus the bosses, yeah, it's like 12 altogether. But if we cut the main If we got like the main menu and the credits out, it's 10. But the main thing to mention here is that with each of the gangs, they, like I said, they have their own unique soundtrack. So for me personally, when you play the Capelli family, I don't know if it's one of them things, but the music it matches it quite well.
Yeah,
so you do feel like you're in.
You've got like
it's not like a 50s style song, but if you imagine like the music that you get in The Godfather, so the trumpets and that sort of thing, there is a bit of action in there. Like TG said, there is a lot of action sort of music, cinematic music. But with everything else that comes with it, you've obviously got the characters. They're all dressed up in their outfits that they're dressed up in, and even they have some funny dialogue lines too. So we do meet a range of characters, a big range of characters. A lot of them don't really have names, and the main ones you do meet are Leone. As you can see, we've already met him. The Warlords only have 2, I think, that stand out more than any other, which are Lieutenant Davis, who will fight eventually, and the Colonel. Who else? Capelli's has got several main characters, actually. You've got Leone, Deadeye, although you briefly meet Deadeye. The Mayor makes a brief appearance, as does his daughter, Portia, but we'll get to that brat later on. And then last one is, who is it? Oh, the Don Capelli, of course.
Okay, I have an actual trick I want to talk about coming up here. So, there's a lot of speech in this game, and if that speech boils over into the fade out at the end of a mission, then the game will not finish the level until someone's done talking. So I just passed 2 cars there, attacking that officer in the patrol car back there. The one on the right here doesn't have anything that happens when you kill him, but the one that's zooming up on the left there behind me does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and take out this car at a specific part so that Leone makes a comment and time it so that right here. Well, that was a bit late.
And sometimes you're the hydrant. I like it better being the dog.
There we go. So that was a bit late, so I didn't get as clean of an ending there, but that does skip the ending dialogue that you normally get from Leone. And that saves about 1.5 seconds.
Nice. Yeah. Pretty good Leone, too.
Yeah.
I mean, 21 seconds, that best I've ever got is 20, so... Yeah, still a second ahead, but either way.
Cold Contract is coming up next. This is one of the first boat levels, and this really highlights why Pursuit Force is such an interesting game to run, because you have these levels which are so, like, very simple on the surface. We have 7 boats we need to destroy, but the way you destroy them can gain you or lose you, like, lots of time. So, for instance, I'm just going to zoom past that first one, and we're going to take control of the second boat here. And what that's going to do is that first boat is going to waistband up to us, and we're going to save a bit of time not having to catch up to the boats in front of us. And we're going to do a combination of jumping from boat to boat and destroying them. So, because we want to maintain speed forward as much as possible so we catch up to the front boats quickly as possible.
One of the main things to mention is that the boats, as you probably might expect, the boats, the cars, everything handles differently. The most interesting of which, I'm pretty sure TG can definitely agree, as I can definitely say has to be the hardest one to get right, is the bike ones. So
yeah, we'll get to those.
There is missions that involve bikes and motorbikes and stuff like that. We'll get to them eventually, but they have some pretty interesting physics, and they can easily go wrong. Also, one thing that is quite... I don't know about unique based, but one of the things that's definitely worth mentioning is that the wall grinding, for example. Now, normally you use it in some games and it's not too bad, and you think, oh, it's fine, you know, blah, blah, blah. We're all good. But the thing is, the main thing to mention is that wall grinding can save you time. Believe it or not, this can be slightly faster to do.
Yeah. So when you collide with a wall, you only lose speed for like maybe 0.5 seconds, and then you instantly accelerate. So it's actually faster just to ping pong and pinball off of walls rather than take your time and like power slide around corners. And it leads to some very hilarious stuff.
Like we said before, though, that one of the main things is that bike physics, which we'll see later in action.
I kind of want to interrupt you here a moment because we are going into the first mini-boss. I say mid-boss is better, of the Capelli gang. And what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to quietly tail Deadeye, but I'm bad at being quiet, so I'm just going to run into the back of him. And now is the perfect time to explain what meter does. If you want to go over that. So there's a meter in the bottom right. What does that do, Viper?
Basically, long story short, if you fill it up, now you can do this via several ways. Now, the bar can go up and down, but let's start with up first of all. So you'll notice that he's hitting the car consistently. He's trying to keep a chain going. You'll notice that every time he hits it, you get something called brute force. Now, should we rack up enough meter and we get a full bar, something very incredible happens. So normally, when I used to play this game, it was a case of there is something to do with the physics. So basically, if you were jumping from car to car, for example, and you had meter, this doesn't really make things any different to how you normally play it. However, the one thing to mention, you jump between vehicles with a full meter, and what you get is a slowdown, like a slowdown action scene. However, with a weapon, as you can see already, TG's put it into great effect, is that if you have a full meter when shooting enemies, you deal a lot more damage to the enemy. So this works on boss fights, enemy cars, you name it, it'll work. The one thing that we're trying to do in this mission in particular is, as you've seen, normally you're supposed to follow Deadeye. Instead, it's more a case of smash into Deadeye, but don't let the timer run down. The next part, which we're currently doing, we have to save the president, but a couple of shots from our handy pistol will usually solve that.
The mayor, but yeah.
But yeah, the mayor. He's fine though.
He's alive.
He's fine. He's alive. So we have this is a little mini segment. This is essentially part 2, but part 3 is the main one. So part 2 is just basically follow the rest of the route. You get to, I think it's like a construction site or something.
Yeah,
Deadeye escapes on foot. Yeah, Deadeye escapes on foot. He then jumps in the boat, at which point you have to chase after him. This is where meter comes in handy, because having meter, basically if you get it before the mayor thing, whatever it is, you get ahead of him, and you get the meter. You basically can deal a crap load of damage, and you can only go down to halfway. In a boss fight like this, with the, I forget what the one is,
the equalizer is what it's called, but it's an SMG.
Equalizer. But you'll notice that because of the fact we've got full meter, we're dealing a lot more damage. Now, normally, Deadeye's health would come down just constantly shooting him. However, if you have the consistency of trying to constantly kill him, then it makes it a lot easier with meter. So basically, like I said, full meter, more damage. On this particular bit, as you can see, TG is killing him pretty quick. Now, normally you can do, I would say, there's 2 ways around that one. So there's either you have meter and you can kill him like that, as you just saw, or the alternative B, there's a boat that you saw joins in the chase. You can use that, kill the guy on it. What I'm trying to say
slow,
is,
though.
meter is quicker by a long shot.
Yeah, so very interesting you said that meter is quicker, because we're going into witness protection, which is the opposite of what you just said there. So witness protection is a very boring mission. We have to escort these 3 boats to the end of the level, and then withstand a Capelli ambush. However, if we stray away from these boats, we will get yelled at, and we have a set amount of time to regroup with them. And so because we want to keep these boats moving, because they're our anchor point of sorts, we do not want to slow them down by staying in slow motion when we have full meter. Because when you have full meter, you can do justice jumps, which slows the game down and allows you to shoot at the people before you actually hop on the boat. We don't want things to go in slow motion because, as the name implies, there's slow in there. So I'm actually going to space out my meter gain here. I'm going to avoid getting fatality ×2 combos, because if you get the same thing that gets you meter in a row, you get exponentially more meter. So I want to, there's 10 boats, so I need to get meter after a 4, and then I want to do 3 and 3. So what I'm going to do after I get these 4 boats here is I'm going to get meter once I finish the 4th boat. I'm going to purposefully expend meter by pressing triangle, which gets rid of your whole justice meter but heals you back up to full health. But that's going to prevent me from doing justice jumps. Also, this level is really laggy on PSP hardware, so looking behind you to save your frame rate is recommended. So yeah, I'm gonna avoid trying to get meter as much as possible here, do a group of 4, and then do 2 groups of 3. I did not want to get that brute force.
So as TG's explained with the meter in this case, we do actually have our first, well, I mean, depending on which order that you do, depending on which order you do the missions in, you either do, this would either be your first on-foot mission, or you do, I think is it Hardware Hijack?
Yep.
For the other one. And then Hardware Hijack is, again, another on-foot one. But the thing is, there's, I think, 3 parts of that mission, which is a case of, well, we'll get to that, we'll explain when we get to it. But for witness protection, like TG said, it's a pretty slow mission to get, like, to do, but the thing is, there's actually missions later on in the run which are way longer.
Well, yeah.
And a lot more boring. You know what?
If you've got donations, send them in then, is all we're gonna say.
Definitely the time to do any donation reading during that particular mission, but and we can kind of explain a bit more about the game as well. Yeah. There is actually a Japanese version of this game for those who like to play games in Japanese or have a Japanese PSP or.
As far as I know, it's basically just a straight up localized version of the North American release and doesn't have anything new.
Pretty much. One of the things that was mentioned. One of the things that did get mentioned originally was we had a case of explaining the game the other day to somebody, and the Japanese version is an interesting one, to say the least. I mean, the artwork and everything's all in Japanese, as you might expect, hence the reason why it's Japanese, etc. But one of the things that often baffles me, one thing that really baffles me, and this is something that is very strange, is the fact that on the North American Powerwall, basically on every single version, there is a gang that we'll get to eventually during, like, at the later part of this run, called the Killer 66, and they're like a Yakuza style gang, to say the
Japanese
least.
mafia.
But the problem is with the for this gang, obviously, because of the fact that if you play it on PAL or if you play the NTSC version, they're obviously going to be speaking English. Obviously, on the Japanese version, everybody speaks Japanese, but for some odd reason, it's more satisfying doing a Killer 66 mission when they're speaking Japanese.
This pile-up? Alright.
Also, nice pile-up.
So we're at the end of an escort mission, so we're at, like, the very end. Unfortunately, that crash made me not be able to set this up, but if you're at the end of an escort mission, even if you do get yelled at, you could just race ahead to the end.
Like that.
We didn't get as much of a boon as possible. So for this on-foot mission, I'm going to slowly inch my way over to the right here. If you look at the mini-map, there we go, I just spawned in the next group of enemies. If I were just to go into that section on foot, as you were supposed to, they're all hiding and waiting for you crouched. But now that I've sort of spawned them in early, they're all out in the middle here, and they're just free pickings.
That I did not know.
If this guy could not hide behind boxes, that'd be fine. Ah! Okay. Nice. And there's witness protection. Not the funnest level in the game, but at least there's some tech to keep you occupied.
Big time on this assignment. Those witnesses
nice. Also, straight 20,850s. Oh yeah, we could really. That's probably a good time to mention it. So every time you complete a case, you're ranked based on how many kills you get, how many people are arrested, etc., etc. So you'll notice for the time being, we're getting A's. At the moment, that stops now.
Yeah.
Because we get to Hardware Hijack. Now, Hardware Hijack, if you do it fast, you'll get probably a B or a C. You'll be looking to get an A.
B is what you normally get.
So, in this mission, also, first mission involves a bike. Like I said before, we have interesting bike physics.
If I hit a car, I will go spinning into a wall, and I will lose around 8 seconds recovering.
Also, this was something that I never did before. So you'll notice that TG has gone on the other side of the freeway to shoot the guy behind. Now, normally, if you were playing this normally, you'd just take the guy out and then speed up and catch up to the other 2 guys. However,
like jump on their car,
this guy down. Yeah. Okay. And then by taking this guy down, so by taking these guys down before you get to the two trucks, as you can see, the off-roaders, whatever they are. you're ideally setting up a nice little situation of, hey, why don't we have someone eliminated before we actually do anything else? So there's going to be a certain reason as to why we're not jumping to any vehicles yet. This is because the bike is considered a lot faster.
Yeah, we're going to jump to it now.
Than these guys. And one of the main things is that you want to take these 3 guys down before you get there. Now, bear in mind, one of these vehicles is light on damage, as you can see. So we ideally want to take the trucks down, as in get rid of the guy with the shotgun first, and then take down his mate who's got this machine gun. And you'll notice that TG has meter here. This is useful, big time, because of the fact that you've
almost
got 60
as if it was
bullets.
Planned.
Exactly, yeah.
Well,
So
the bullet
you've
count
got
won't matter
full meter
because
in
when
there.
we hit a level transition between part 1 and part 2 here, we'll get a reload.
Which would be
Even
nice.
if you have a premium gun, you get full ammo back if you transition like here.
So with meter and with this weapon, you can actually mop up these army pukes a lot quicker, as they say in the video game. I'm pretty sure they say that. Like, mop up these army pukes and get out of there. So believe it or not, like I said, this is one of them missions where there is
That was good.
parts. That was a nice. I thought that was it. We've
Only
actually
one
done
reload.
2 parts already. We're already on to the 3rd part, which is quite good. But to quickly just go over this, so how do I hijack it is 3 parts. The first part, get to the base, take down 3 enemies. You get to the base, you've got an on-foot section, which is played in
Can I
third
interrupt
person.
you there for a moment? Because, like I said, when you have full meter, you do this slow-mo jump, but you only, you lose meter for every time you shoot an enemy there. So I'm only going to shoot the person in this boat 3 times with the pistol, and taking back this boat again will get me full meter back.
Which is going to be useful, because having meter, you can actually shoot these guys in the boat.
And if you have full meter during justice jumps, you have infinite ammo. So I just filled that boat I just passed with bullets, and all I need is 1 in order to keep the gun there for hijacking that.
Nice.
There you go. Perfect.
Boom.
Anyway, sorry for interrupting.
But like I said, there's 3 parts. We've done the first bit with the. Oh god. Yeah, this guy
Don't worry
really
about
doesn't
it.
like you though,
I
does he?
got this.
So you've got the first guy is first part is basically, like I said, drive to the army base, take him down, boom, done. Second part, 10 enemies, kill them as fast as possible. The 60 bullet weapon.
Okay.
Ideally with meter. The last bit, which as you can see, involves you have to destroy the 6 boats. And again, as TG mentioned before, you can take there's 2 ways of doing this mission. I say 2 ways. There's always 2 ways of destroying something. When it says destroy a vehicle, you don't have to destroy it. You've seen several times already. TG just jumped into the boat and captured it, because that is one of the things in this game. Just because it says destroy doesn't mean you have to destroy it. You can do. I used to always think, what's the point of destroying a vehicle? But obviously, it's quicker when you've got meter and you've got the massive one.
So the reason you want to
Speaking of
destroy over capture is if you need to go as fast as possible to catch up to the front boats. If you notice, I shot up the second boat, and that's because he's way out in the middle of the water when I could be cutting that turn to catch up faster. So that's why I did that.
Also, 3rd mission in the Warlords franchise. So you've seen us do the 1st mission. You've seen us do Hardware Hijack, which is the 2nd mission. Now we get to Atomic Ambush. Now, Atomic Ambush...
Now I'm excited for this one. This has a new
Excited.
trick that I've started to get in runs now. But that'll be at the end.
This one's going to go well. Yeah, this one's going to go quite well, I think. So
Yeah,
we've
so
got...
this first section, we have to escort the nuclear bomb, and the name of the game is lag reduction. I want to basically look behind me at certain parts to make sure I keep the frame rate up so that the convoy behind me keeps moving. But other than that, not a whole lot to talk about.
There are a few, I think other than just the fact that there are going to be enemies on this route. Luckily, every time you see, but every time you get the arrows, so like here for example, right now, the guys will come out from behind that wall. Once you they always come out at the same point every time. They're always there. So once you've figured out what walls they're going to come out of, that sounds a bit awkward, but when you figured out what walls they're going to just appear out of,
Yeah.
for whatever reason. Once you've got that down, then it's completely fine. You've not got to worry about anything.
Yeah.
Also, for some weird reason, this guy in this particular Jeep, I don't know why, I still have no idea why, he seems to fly right up behind you for whatever reason. He goes at like supersonic speed almost.
He only does
Just to
that if
catch
you're
up.
ahead of the convoy.
Which I guess is quicker, I
Yep.
presume.
Because we're ahead of the convoy and therefore we're saving frames.
So don't get too far ahead. There you go.
Yeah.
Nice. So there are a couple of enemies, most of which we're going to just destroy. We don't actually have to worry about doing
Well, I want to
anything
keep
else.
this truck because it's faster than those APCs. And the reason I want to go fast will be evident in just a few moments here.
And again, it's similar to what we do for the witness protection
Yeah.
at the end as well.
Yeah, but in witness protection, we only have 10 seconds to break away. They give us, like almost... What is
Half
it?
a minute?
Yeah, half a minute.
I think it's 25 seconds. I
So
think
I'm
it
looking
is,
at the
but-
top left there. I'm looking for 230, and I'm gonna bolt. And there you go. 25 seconds.
So now from here, we've now got to get to the exit.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm
you can
gonna
time it.
cut this really close. So my wall bumps here have got to be really good if I don't want to fail this whole mission. But I'll be
The one
fine. I'm a
thing I
master.
will mention is that if you don't want to take the risk, but you still want to get there with a bit of time in your hands, is be sure to go right near the end.
Okay, we're fine.
That's good, nice. You need to go, like, probably just before the last guy spawns, so around, like, 180-ish, 190, I think. When you get to that guy, you can obviously go then,
That's way too
and you've
late.
got a
You're
bit
going
more
slow.
time.
Don't go slow.
if you wanted to. I'm just saying for the sake of being safe, that's all. Because not everyone's going to go at, like, 230, but still, either way. I mean, TG will, because obviously he knows the game inside and out, so it works. Also,
Taking a lot of
nice.
damage here. Also, I did not want to spawn the next area, and I did, so that's kind of unfortunate. This is a bit slow. Uh-oh. Don't worry, I'm a master. Okay.
There we go.
Don't mind my health bar. So yeah, arresting an enemy in these on-foot sections gets you their gun.
Nice.
And we need that for the mini-boss, or for the mid-boss coming up.
Which, do you want to explain the
Okay,
strat?
so how this boss works is that he'll give you an opportunity to shoot at him, but then after you deal enough damage and he spawns an extra enemy, he's going to zoom ahead. But we can do some trickery in order to prevent him from zooming ahead. So I'm going to empty my gun here, and now I'm going to sort of race alongside of him. Oh, okay, he zoomed ahead a bit too early. But the idea is that you can sort of bump in front of him if you time your zoom ahead really well, and then you can finish him in one cycle. So in order to catch up to him now, we have to defeat his friend here, which thankfully we were able to keep to the right side and catch up to him really quickly. So even though we didn't get the super fast strat, this will still be a pretty quick babies, since he's right there on the corner.
There we go.
So not
And just
the
like
quickest strat, but not bad.
And just like that, half of the Warlord stuff is done, same with half of the Cabela's.
Yeah, more than
which
half.
Reminds me, I think we're going to go on to convicts now, aren't we?
You're correct.
Yes. So, third gang in this game. So, like I said, there's 5 altogether. We've already made a start on 2, which are obviously the Warlords, the Cabela's. Introducing the convicts, nutcase psychopaths who've just escaped from prison.
If you think Saturday morning cartoon prisoners, they're these guys.
Pretty much. You think of the hard asses, or tried to be hard asses. You know, tattoos, yeah. Rrr. And just for added effect, their leader is a guy called Hardballs. I know, how creative, right?
A source of many a chuckle for anyone who played this game.
Exactly. I spent many times laughing at that name.
So lots of wall bumps here.
Especially with lines such as, feel the power of my balls. Yeah.
God damn it.
It's fair to say this game wasn't rated 12 for no reason.
I think it got a T over here in North America.
Damn. I think is it 12 plus? Yeah, it was 12 plus over in the UK. It might have been more actually, I don't know. Pretty sure it's 12. Either way. So, First two missions involving the convicts. Well, I think, is it 2 or 3? How many do you do at the moment? I think it's 3, right?
Yeah.
Like the next 3 are all
We're
convicts.
doing 4, actually.
Oh, damn, 4, okay. Nice. So, first two missions involve getting to the ski resort, helping an old lady, an old bloke, and a guy who, putting it bluntly, reminds you of the guy from the 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Where is he? Where is he? There he is. There
we go.
That was a bit of a disaster.
So one thing that's worth noting here is that each gang has their own set of vehicles. You probably already noticed this by now, but all of the gangs have their own vehicle selections, and they all have like their own set of a sports vehicle or 4x4. They also have their own weakling, shall we say? So for example, the convicts have something called, which is what you can see he's on right now, something called the Frankenstein. The Frankenstein is weak as anything. I mean, I don't remember Frankenstein being weak in the films, but Frankenstein as a whole is a really weak car. However, the sports car, which he's about to jump onto, this vehicle is more interesting. I say more interesting.
Yeah,
we
it's
use
very
it on several
tanky,
occasions.
but really slow.
Yeah. I mean, its top speed is better than I think better than the Frankenstein, but in terms of handling, it's pretty bad.
Well, the handling I don't care about. I want top speed.
I was more a fan of the sports car than I was of the Frankenstein. I thought it just looked ugly. I'm glad that you were able to destroy it easily.
If it wasn't for this car, the car I'm riding in right now is called the Hybrid. If it wasn't for this car's bad top-end speed, this would be my favorite car in the game because I love that Mad Maxy looking style.
The other thing is as well is that the fact that it's called a hybrid, yet it's not hybrid at all. It's quite funny. The best thing is, in the sequel to this game, which is Pursuit Force Extreme Justice, this car actually got an upgrade. So it became a lot faster and it looked a lot more menacing.
Yeah, so you brought up the fact that these Frankensteins have low HP. We're not even going to jump on them. It's faster to shoot them. That's how weak they are.
Literally.
Yeah, especially with meter and this nail gun, you can really poke holes in them.
I mean, it's not a nail gun for no reason.
So do a specific amount of damage here so I can keep meter.
Nice. And then it's as simple as just battering the other guy, blowing him up. Done. Just like that. And that is Ski Run Rampage. We do have another mission coming up in just a second, which I believe... What's it called?
Rapid Reaction. It's basically a sequel to Cold Contract, the third mission we did with the Capelli boat one, except it's just a different coat of paint.
Pretty much, yeah. Same thing. You know, same thing, just instead of it reaching Aston Town, they've got to reach the harbour and you've got to stop them. There's also 8 boats this time instead of 7.
Mm-hmm. And it is faster just to jump on all of them, so we will not be doing anything involving shooting at them. Just very quick jumps.
The one thing to mention is that in terms of firepower that each gang has, the Capellis have, I'd say, the weakest, or not far off the weakest. But along with the Warlords as well. So,
I actually have to dodge.
For example, that was a pretty good dodge. So, for example, the Warlords have the... I forget what it's called.
The sawed-off and the nail gun.
No,
you're talking about the Warlords. Oh,
the Warlords, yeah.
There's
like
an assault rifle
called the shotgun
and the AG.
Dawn-off shotgun. Oh no, it's just a shotgun, isn't it? The shotgun and then the machine gun that they have.
Oh, yikes, my health. So to get my health back, I'm going to do a Justice Jump, press triangle right before I land, so I burn all my meter for all my health back, and I pretty much get a free Justice Jump there, and it doesn't matter how much I shoot.
And also we got a sawed-off shotgun, which, believe it or not, this weapon is one of the weird ones, because shotguns do a crap load of damage in this game, they really do. But if you ever jump on a vehicle, which you will jump on a fair few in this game, I mean the main aspect of the game is to jump. But if you jump on this game a lot, then we've got, yeah, you're going to get your health obliterated, to say the least.
Well, this has actually been a pretty okay rapid reaction.
Yep.
Oh, hey Hotline, how you doing? Welcome to the stream.
What about you?
Welcome to the stream, Hotline. I guess he's going to be joining us for a little bit. I wonder if I have enough health to survive this. I do, thank goodness.
Nice. Only just. Yeah, it's a pretty close call, to be fair, that one.
Yeah, so
I think I finished it with a minimum amount of health once. Also nice.
Nice
PB.
score, nice. So for those of you who don't know, Hotline is also a runner of this game. Last I checked, he was doing Killer 66 stuff. Since career mode is not the only thing you can do in this game, you can also just do straight up RTAs of a single gang 6 missions in whatever order you want.
Also, Wildest Boys.
Oh yeah, this is...
We've had a fair bit of fun with this one.
In my opinion, this is where the speedrun turns into brutal territory. This game, just Pursuit Force, even as a casual game, is really difficult. But if you want to beat this game as fast as possible and using all the speed strats, this is where it starts really kicking you in the groin. So we're actually going to do a really funny strategy here. I'm going to wait for... There we go, I got someone to jump on my car. So now somebody is driving the Super Pursuit car for us, and yeah, they're gonna be driving that for the entire mission, so we need a back leader. Which is really funny to me.
It's a bit of a weird one, because I think, is this the only mission where you have something like that?
Yeah,
I'm sure it is, isn't it?
It's so weird.
Because normally you'd expect, oh okay, there's, you know, there's a couple of convicts and they're in cars and stuff like this. And normally the whole idea is you don't want people jumping in your car, or at least I never wanted people jumping in my car. But yeah, on this one, that's like the friggin' norm. Like, seriously, I wish it wasn't, but it is the norm on this mission, and it's a pretty convenient thing that it's the norm.
Oh, we got a bit of a convoy going on right now.
Also, this can happen if you're not lucky. Just fine.
No, I didn't
also,
want that. I wanted to jump back to the pursuit car before the slow-mo jump happened. Okay.
Also, you got me in, nice.
Yeah. So we have the Super Pursuit car. It is much faster than any of the other cars the convicts have. So if we get somebody to hold onto it for us, and we jump back to it once we're done eliminating all of the marked cars, we can zoom off and save a whole bunch of time. Since we do need to reach the end of this segment to get to the mini-boss, Billy Wilde, a fan-favorite character, I believe.
Yeah, he returns in the sequel as well. So if you think he dies in this one, guess again, I just spoiled the second one. No, there's a lot more to the second one, trust me. It's not just about the convicts, but the convicts are there, don't worry. Anyway, on to Billy Wilde. Billy Wilde is... I honestly used to think he was difficult, but he really isn't. He's quite easy.
If you want to beat him fast, he's difficult.
Yeah, if you want to beat him fast,
good
he's
aim.
difficult. But honestly, even as just like a casual playthrough, I found him to be easy. I think I managed to beat him.
Is this the first chopper gunner segment in the game?
Yeah, I'd say it is.
Okay, so yeah, it's a chopper gunner. Not much else to say about that. We got a 9-kill streak, and now we're here.
Well. There's quite a few chopper segments in this game. This is only like one of them. One of the worst ones, I think, is probably would be Day of the Tom.
No,
actually.
It's Risky Business. Risky Business can go suck an egg.
Oh yeah. Okay, Risky Business.
This is a really good Billy Wilde, by the way. So the best way to deal damage to Billy Wilde is you can only deal damage to him when he's on the car, but during that animation where he's climbing in, you can still do damage to him.
I never knew that.
Yeah, so it's being able to follow him as he's just flying all over the place.
Also nice.
Yeah, that was not a bad. That was not a bad one. Hey, made my top 5.
Nice. No more Billy Wilde. Easy peasy. We're only 38 minutes, not even that, 37.5 minutes in.
So Viper teased this mission a while ago, and now we're head-to-head with it. The Forger.
Yeah.
If you've got donations, we've got a 22-kilometer trek ahead of us.
I think this mission's about, is it 5-ish
It's
minutes?
5.5 minutes.
And
it's just driving. There's no strategies. So, yeah. No, there's a strategy at the beginning here where, since I said the pursuit car is the fastest available thing, I'm going to try and keep the pursuit car as long as possible. I don't want to keep it for too long because we do need to capture that Corvette, or not Corvette, convertible, as well as the 2 Frankensteins before we hit the end of this section at the airport, so we can't hang around in this car for too long. But I'm going to cut it as close as possible.
So, proper risky.
Yeah, I'm going to try and jump at 2.2 here. There we go. That's as far as I'm willing to push it in the marathon. Alright, now, these 2 ads...
sooner, right?
Pardon?
You could jump a bit sooner, couldn't you, just in case? If you wanted to.
If you're scared and bad, Kappa, I could have pushed this a lot more. Like, if I'm going for world record, I go at like 220, because we still got this off-ramp to go.
So we get right at the end. And speaking of which, so for those that don't know what this mission's actually about, I can kind of explain it in about 20 seconds or so. So, you have to capture the hybrid because you have to pose as one of the convicts, and you're picking up a guy from the airport, simply named the Forger. The Forger is what you get in a James Bond movie, probably. He's one of them guys that forges documents, he's a bad guy, you need to take him down, and if you capture him, he'll squeal on whoever he works for.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Well, he's also forging documents so the convicts can get out of the country, which is a bit of a no-no.
Unfortunately, though, what this has caused is a huge problem. And by huge, I mean a 20-minute sleeper section. Or, well, say 20 minutes. 20
yeah,
miles,
because we need to escort the Forger, we can't jump to cars in order to do anything faster. So, as you see in the top left there, those numbers are in kilometers. We've got 18 more kilometers to go. And there is no way to make this go faster. That we know.
That guy really came faster out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Gee whiz.
Oh my god.
I've never seen him hit that, like, go that fast before.
Oh, he always does that. He's got places to be. So,
He's got VTech, bro.
He got VTechs kicking in. So if you've got, this would be the perfect time for donations or, I don't know, something. Because we've got dead air for the next 4.5 minutes.
I mean, we could probably explain a bit more about other bits of the game, I guess.
Yeah, like,
like
tap turning.
The
I don't think we had talked about the fastest way to just drive cars. Since I think you'd be qualified to talk about that, since you've been grinding all races recently.
Well, I'm going to say, one of the things I wanted to mention, and this is kind of important, because it is this mission, is something that... Was it Hotline that discovered this, with the beta screenshots? Originally... Yeah. Was it in... I think it was one of the beta screenshots, wasn't it? That there was...
Yeah.
It isn't in the final game, as far as we know. But in...
No.
A screenshot of this particular mission... you have the cars coming alongside you, and obviously, as TG says, you can't jump. Originally, there was actually a logo, like an icon, that said you wasn't allowed to jump.
Which I'm glad they didn't keep, because that'd be annoying to see non-stop.
Fun fact, it was actually on the Forger.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. I'm checking it right now.
It definitely was this mission, wasn't it?
Welcome to this episode of the Cutting Room Floor.
I'm pretty sure that...
What is this man doing? I can't move! What is this? I can't move! Okay,
nice.
That was cool.
Anyway.
Another thing I wanted to talk about, since we have all the time in the world right now, is... Does this game have RNG? And what's the random elements that we need to combat as a runner? And the best answer is... not a whole lot. Not even the traffic that spawns here is random. It always spawns in the same increments, and if you do the same actions every single time you boot up a stage, the AI will behave relatively the same, and the traffic patterns will always be the same as well. So if you play the game for long enough, you can memorize where you need to dip, dive, dodge, and duck. And dodge.
Dip, dive, dodge, duck, dodge.
Yeah, that's
whatever they say in dodgeball.
And yeah, with enough practice, you can pretty much do some of these missions like the back of your hand.
I was going to say, there is a mission similar to this that involves doing driving for a long distance and is a bit boring, and that's the second part of Guardian. Although that's in a faster car.
Guardian is the definition of an auto-scroller. There's nothing you can do in that mission to go faster. You can only lose time.
and you have someone complaining next to you.
Yeah, which doesn't help.
So I was talking earlier that Pursuit Force is a really brutal game, even casually, and it's even more brutal as a speedrun, because Pursuit Force is the kind of speed game where you can go fast and get tricks and then go up maybe like 5 seconds, but you mess up once and you lose like 15. It's very brutal, and yeah, it's very easy to get like burnt out because one mistake can like cost you a run, and it's just, oh no.
Basically, it's very, very hard to get a run linked up. Pretty much.
It took me almost 2 months to get under 2 hours.
And you were stubborn in the career.
It's no easy feat.
I'm just gonna burn meter in case I do something stupid. Ooh, speaking of which.
Nearly. I think this is one of the most annoying parts of this mission. The fact that when the guy tries to take the car from you, I say that, when he tries to slow you down, he is a real pain because the whole car just slows down. Even if you're trying to counter-steer it, the speed drops dramatically. So basically, the guy's behind you, especially the first time it happens right near the start. When them guys try and catch up to you, or when they do catch up to you, it is a real bugbear.
Hey guys, I'm excited.
It's one thing to know. Why?
We're doing Vixens now.
Oh, okay. Vixens. Where do we start with the Vixens?
The Vixens are hands down, at least in terms of the gang RTAs of the 5 of them, the Vixens is probably the most difficult and the most fun. Because every single one of the Vixen missions relies on you completing an objective. There's no escorting, there's no waiting on a timer. It's just, can you defeat the stage objective as quickly as possible? And they also have the best weapons in the game as well.
We get near the end of the... We get to defeat the Vixens, obviously. Every single boss will be defeated in its own right. But the main one to mention is what will happen with...
like, look at this ceramic.
Somebody in particular.
It just melts people. It just...
The ceramic's lethal. I mean,
it's
that's
so good!
A few shots. Yeah, but if you're the one that's being shot with it, it's lethal. It can kill you pretty quick if you're not careful. I mean, obviously TD won't have that problem, I know.
Oh, I could have pulled hard. Let's go.
Nice. But the main thing to mention here is there's actually 3 parts to this mission, or
I'd say 2. It's really
like
really one contiguous mission, but it's broken up into a car part and then a boat part. And we have a cool trick coming up where we do the transition way sooner than you're supposed to. I call it the super jump, but basically we're abusing, so in order to jump to another car in this game, you need to be facing the same direction as the car you want to jump to, and you need to be traveling the same speed as it. So what we're going to do is there's an upcoming corner beside a river right here. I'm going to use my, if I can stop running into people, this tree right here. I'm going to brake. I should get a jump prompt. There we go. You can actually do it a bit crazier than that, but there we go. We're jumping to the next boat way sooner than we should. And there you go.
Also, that's like the 1.5 mission, in my opinion.
It's a boat level now.
There's 2 parts. So you have the first bit you have to protect the police officers. The 1.5 bit is basically take down them 2 boats, which you have it. For me personally, when I first played this mission, I thought the time limit or the distance limit, should we say, was quite strict.
Yeah, so but you have honestly, to take out that. You have to take out those first 2 boats before you get into this tunnel section.
Yeah, and you have about 1.5 miles to do so. Which,
yeah, as you see that, we had no problem making that quota.
Given how fast the boats go, you can run out of road pretty quickly. However, it's worth noting, you're better off, again, with most games, like with most speedruns, play this through first, and the quicker you can get everything, the better, basically. This mission isn't, in my opinion, is a bit more difficult.
It's very easy to lose a lot of time on this mission. That was a really good daylight archaeology, though.
Nice.
Really happy about that one. Oh, that was a top score. Let's go.
Another PB.
Another PB. I actually feel like I'm on PB great pace right now.
I won't think about that too much.
Whatever. Yeah. Alright, Test of Metal. It's, we seem to have every single gang having some sort of basic boat level where you just have to get all the boats. This one we can't destroy, we have to jump on the yellow ones. So we're not gonna worry a bit about the other boats, we're only gonna worry about jumping on these, marked yellow ones.
Basically doing the bare minimum required. So the boats that's with her, or say with her, with the capture boats, you can just drive past them. It's like, bye love, see you later. I don't actually need to take you down. I mean, you can ram them and stuff if you want to, but it's not compulsory. You don't have to take them down. I mean, if you want the extra score, by all means go for it. But honestly, even in a 100% run,
what is this?
Even in a 100% run, if you do this that fast, like really fast,
no, you will not need. You will not need to kill anyone else. You won't need to do rank.
That's what I was basically just gonna say. Just even if you wanted to, you don't actually have to. At that point, you're just going for top score.
Turn into a wall.
Okay. You're going for bragging rights, basically. If you want to kill the rest, you don't have to kill the rest. If you just go after the main boats, yeah, you'll get the A rank, no problem. But that's for 100%. Any percent is basically just getting any grade on every single case and defeating all bosses.
I would have liked to have captured 2 boats before Chief warned us about the chopper, because now we're going to get a voice line here that we'll have to wait for. So this isn't the fastest you can do this mission, unfortunately. But whatever. We didn't crash into a wall and lose 15 seconds, so I'm fine with that.
Easy.
Easy game.
And as you can see, easy A grade as well. The A grade is a bit of an odd one because normally when you boot the game up for the first time, you have all the different scores. So usually A involves you doing... I mean, the thing is with this speedrun, you're getting A's and B's. You're barely getting ACs without even
later
trying.
In the game, C's are very easy to get because we're avoiding hitting a lot of people.
Yeah, that's true. Also, another one. This actually starts in the chopper and ends in a car and foot section.
Yeah.
So normally with these missions, there's always like a second part to it. So, like for example, the first part will always be you'll be shooting somebody, and then you'll either go to an on-foot section, or there'll be another section that involves either like a car chase or take down the rest of the cars. So, for example, in Day of the Dam, you have basically a start of this, like this. It starts like this, where you're in the chopper and you have to take down boats. And then you get near the end, and it turns into a case of, hey, you don't actually need to, you can't take down all the boats, you need to actually take them down yourself. So, that's what this one's about. Also, having full meter on this particular part works quite well. So what we've basically done here, this mission involves the Capelli's lawyer. We've decided the chief wants us to kidnap him because he wants us to get him to squeal on the Capellis, because it's basically, hang on a minute, that's Capelli's lawyer. I know what we'll do. We'll make sure he squeals. So the only way we can do it is the only way we know how, and that is kidnap him. So we're essentially being the bad guy. We're actually the bad guy in this game right now. So it's not like we're not doing the right. We're not protecting citizens. We're kidnapping citizens. But the lawyer, I mean, he's a lawyer and he's working for the Capelli, so it makes more sense. Yeah,
Viper's correct though. We definitely want to keep meter for. The meter doesn't really matter for this sequence. Since we just need to get to the end. However, I do want full meter at the beginning of the on-foot section because that speeds it up dramatically. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to burn my meter right here, and then I'm going to rely on the rest of the vehicles to get me back up to full meter. If you see there, I used it right as I killed the other car. I'm going to leave this car damaged, and then I'm going to work on the second car because I want to get an Eliminator ×2 combo, and that's going to give me a ton of meter. There's one. I have to rely. There's the other, and there. I almost have full meter again. So now I just have to avoid hitting. I just have to avoid hitting civilians, which I don't think we brought up yet. Hitting civilian traffic loses you a ton of meter, and that's not good.
I forgot to mention that on the last one. So basically, every time you shoot every time you shoot a civilian or you accidentally ram one or whatever, you'll lose any part of meter. So I don't know how big of a chunk you'll lose, but
it's quite a bit.
Stuff.
It's more than a brute force times 2.
And it can be quite brutal as well. So not only is it a case of being fast, also we have an on foot section here. Not only is it a case of being fast and seeing what we can do, but there's also a case of, hey, there's actually more to it than meets the eye. So yeah, it's fair to say there's a fair bit involved on this one. Also, this on foot section is quite easy. Especially if you
I ordered this really bad.
One of the easiest, to be honest.
I mean,
hardware hijack is objective. Did I miss one? There he is.
Yeah.
Okay, that was slow. That was not.
Hardware hijack is easy.
Yeah.
All right, we're coming up to the first boss in the run, and if I were going for actual attempts, this would probably be a run killer, because the fastest way to defeat Don Capelli, the first boss in the game, is very stupid and very RNG heavy. However, for you today, I'm going to be doing a marathon safe strat, where I take care of anything that basically get rid of any random elements, but it does lose up to 20 seconds if you do it, like, perfectly. So we'll see how I do.
So to kind of explain this mission a little bit more, so Don Capelli is deciding to flee the country. He's like, alright, I'm going to try and escape from the cops and all this stuff. Well, we're not going to let that happen, as you might imagine. We're not going to let that happen. We're Pursuit Force. Time for some street justice, as the chief says. So this is us versus the Don. And as I said, the entire gang is basically one big like mafia family. However, you'll notice that, well, he brought a load of backup with him, which, to be honest, fair play to the guy. You know, he's fleeing the country. He needs some of his henchmen to survive. But at the same time, we need to kill him. And because kill him, you know, yeah, we're in trouble. We need to make sure that under no circumstances whatsoever do we let him get away. Because if he gets away, he's in serious trouble. I say he's in serious trouble. I think we're more in serious trouble.
So yeah, the marathon safe strat is all about taking care of these guys. If we were actually going for world record here, we'd be completely on Don Capelli's butt. But the problem with that is that you can't really control how the AI bunches up around Don, so you're completely up to the mercy of whatever happens.
Also, there's 3 phases for Don. So his first phase is he has a case of you've got two of his wingmen which you need to kill.
Which I've already damaged before I dealt with the ads.
Yeah. So once you've killed this one, so he's got a case of also please get a sports car. Also nice, he jumped out in front somehow. Don't know how that works, but okay.
Okay, I need to get this car.
So this is kind of crucial. So he wants to get this car here just so that he can get the fatality bonus and pick up the revolver. So this will actually help deal a crap load of damage to the Don. I don't know about 2-cycle, but it'll be a pretty
This is 2-cycle for sure. That was a very good
nice.
safe strat for Don. That was very good.
So the main idea is to try and take Don down. As you've seen, we've just done that. We've managed to do that with ease, and he's not got away. And he does, as I didn't even mention the whole point of that mission, but he has a good group of henchmen. I say good. Obviously, he's no match for Pursuit Force, but he has a bunch of henchmen that will be in his convoy, shall we say? And you have to ideally get past them. Now, casual player, you probably just take each car down, then take care of Don.
Yeah, from the back to the front.
Speedrun strats, yeah, you've got a bite. You can fly around them. They're not even that quick, the cars. Yeah. You can actually beat the cars. Now,
also, before we go on, those boss defeat cutscenes are unskippable, I should say.
So for a bit of storyline concept, you can watch some of the cutscenes. This is actually a mission. This is actually a game that has cutscenes that you have to watch. So there's no skipping or getting around it. Also, welcome to everybody's favorite 90s movie reference.
I've never actually seen Speed starring Keanu Reeves.
I've never
Actually,
seen it
when
either, so I'll join you on that one.
When I bought my release PSP 1000 way back in the day, it came with 2 movies. It came with Disney's Tron, the original one, and it came with Speed, and I never watched it. Hello? Alright, that was not Speed Bus, but whatever. Pretend I got it. You can go crashing into the side of this bus and get the jump prompt, and you will be right at the front of the bus, and you'll just tiptoe up. That was a really messy dismount, but I was on the left side of there, and I still got on the front. If you get up from the back of it, and you have to go on the roof of the bus, your walk speed is very slow, and the bus is not moving anywhere near its top speed when you're trying to get to the front of it. So jumping to the front saves a lot of time.
Also, what's funny about this mission is the fact that the boss, he says, every time you drop below 100 miles an hour, the timer counts down. This bus must have a top speed of like 110.
Sorry to interrupt, but we have a trick coming up. The offloader that's trying to get the civilians off can give us a little bit of a boost here. Look at that speed increase. Oh, okay. The only problem is that he's very slippery, and he does a ton of damage to you if you prolong it for too long. So it's very hard to keep that speed up. But it can save a minuscule amount of time, and it's also really funny looking.
Also, it's probably worth noting that there is a huge difference. I say huge, but there's one of the things you may have noticed. So, each time somebody jumps off, there's this meter that goes around the circle.
Yeah.
And when it gets to a full circle...
Yeah, you EU release people had it rough. Alright, we're gonna get another boost. Okay, that was not
If you
great.
have the European version, as TG just said, if you have the European version of the game, that meter never shows.
So
For some odd reason, they decided 2 things with the European version, which is also one of the reasons why I'm going to say now, if you're going to play this game and you want to run it, play either the Japanese version or the North American. North American's probably a bit easier for most people.
More accessible.
English speaking stuff.
Very punishing.
But the European version is punishing for 2 reasons. First of all, there's no difficulty spike. However, I mean, other than the natural game difficulty spike, there's 2 things that is slightly different about the game. So the first being that on this one there is no there's no meter that shows you how much longer you've got to wait with the truck next to you for somebody to jump off. That's the first thing. The other thing is that if you die in one of these missions, say goodbye to any progress you just made because you have to start the entire mission again.
Yeah, in the EU version, there's no mid-level checkpoints. Yeah.
They actually decided to put checkpoints in these versions. This was a game changer when I realised that after watching TG play this game and speedrun it so much. I was like, wait a minute, there's checkpoints in North America? So yeah, that's definitely one of the reasons why I highly recommend getting the North American version or Japanese version over the PAL version. Which brings me on to another point. We mentioned before about all races, which is a category that is also in this game. Although it's a pretty tedious category, it's just a case of grinding out races and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but the main thing about that is one thing that I said to TG the other day, which I noticed, was that you can get slightly quicker race times, I think, in PAL. Not all the time, I don't mean every single race is quicker.
I still need to look into that before we talk about that, but we'll see. I don't think
from
that
what
makes
I
sense.
can see, it's a case of there's the boat races and some of the SUV races. Some of them are way slower on PAL, and some others are way faster than NTSC. I say way faster, probably like 2 seconds or so.
Here's Day of the Dam.
Do you want to explain this one?
You can.
Briefly?
I need to focus. Ooh, nice pause.
Okay, long story short, 9 boats. We need to destroy 7. Now, there's a specific a specific point at in this mission. I forget
around
what
650
distance it is. Basically, if you haven't sank 7 boats, here's the strat. If we sink all out of the possible 9, you can sink 7 as a maximum. There's no way of sinking all 9. If you sink 7, what happens is you get to the end of the mission, as in you walk to the front 2 boats. That means all you've got to do is take them down. However, the more boats you don't take down will mean, well, obviously the more boats you don't take down the chopper means the more you've actually got to take down when you land. So, yeah, fair to say, this one is very crucial.
Well, I don't think I'm getting the warp. Well, maybe. This will be very close. No, we're not.
Nope.
Maybe?
This is one of these missions
No.
where there's actually
Damn
a scripted cutscene.
Well, that's 30 seconds down the drain right there.
We're flying on fumes.
That's really annoying.
At this point, what usually happens is, like I said, TG would warp to the end. It is pretty difficult, and there is a lot of concentration involved. Plus, in terms of RNG, there is, as we said before, as TG said before, there isn't a lot of RNG. But I personally think on this mission, there kind of is.
No, so if you
like
destroy depending on how fast or slow you are, the boats are still moving when they're off screen and unloaded. However, when you load them, then their actual hitboxes spawn, and depending on where they start driving, they can get into really annoying situations. So if you're the same speed every time, then you shouldn't run into any problems, but I call the third group of boats the Jokers, because they love spawning in and crashing the moment they do. If you're really fast, you never run into problems with them, but if you're learning this game, it seems that they crash all the time, and it's infuriating. So unfortunately
Also,
we lost like 20 to 30 seconds not getting that warp.
Also, you saw that we took down Don Capelli not that long ago. Now get ready to see the end of the Warlords.
Alright, it's 3 bump time. Who's ready to count to 3 with me?
I'll let Hotline do this one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, who's ready? 1,
So,
2. I didn't
3.
get 3, damn it. Alright, this is not a good general fight.
So basically what was supposed to happen there is by hitting the boats and getting your brute force times 3, this allows you to catch up to the general, and you can also, it's ideal that you have a full meter for this one, because if you don't, then you're in trouble. The one thing to mention as well, you already have noticed, I think this is the first mission where you actually see us using the Enforcer.
Yeah, we just unlocked it after Day of the Dam.
So we've got this now, rather than just having the standard one-shot pistol, we've now got a rapid
6-round
fire. 6-round burst rapid fire pistol, which is pretty good.
So to explain the 3 bump, basically off those 2 rear guards, I want to get a brute force times 3, and that will be enough additional meter that taking over the other 2 boats will give us full meter that we can use to dump on general. I did a really poor execution of this. The general should actually be dead by now, but whatever, we'll have to roll with what we're given. Like, we shouldn't even see the second mortar fight. This is a really bad general.
And just like, oh god, I'm gonna say, and just like that, the general is dead.
Not happy about that one.
And the general is dead, and with it, the warlords have sank with it.
2 out of 5.
Yeah, 2 out of 5. 2 gangs done, 3 to go. Now, believe it or not, 2 gangs. The first 2 gangs is kind of like between taking all 5 gangs, you have Capellis and warlords within like a couple of missions of one another. Then you've got convicts, which isn't too far up, but then by the time we're dealing with the Vixens and eventually the Killer 66, them 2 come. It's kind of like, here's the first 2, oh, here's a third, then you have to wait ages, and then here's the last 2 to defeat them.
So the Killer 66, we might as well be doing an IL of like an RTA Killer 66 at the end of the mission, because we're doing missions 1 through 5 back to back to back to back to back.
Also, I should mention as well that your rank as well, you start off as officer, and as you've seen on the bottom left, it ranks up from like officer to lieutenant to captain.
Major.
I think then it's to major and then commander eventually, I think, isn't it?
Yep.
So basically, you could see that as you're ranking up and going through these police ranks, essentially the missions are getting harder. I think that's like how I'll put it. It's
yeah,
kind
so
of
every
like,
time you rank up, a new group of
then,
missions is available.
Yeah. So that's how like the unlock system works, and also as well, depending on the rank that you get. So if you get an A rank, a B rank, C rank, whatever you get, not only does it unlock new missions, but you've also got new vehicles, new tracks, new races,
and cheats,
stuff like that. Yeah, and cheats as well.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. I really want to do donations incentives where I turn on the silly cheats that don't impact gameplay, like monster tires. I would love to do a career mode run where I just play with monster tires. Or laser.
Right.
You can also turn the bullet effects in this game into like G.I. Joe lasers, which I am all
I mean,
about.
that's one thing. That could probably be a potential. What do you call it? That could be a
Donation
potential donation incentive. Yeah, that's not a bad idea actually.
So there's an underlying theme with the convicts missions, and that's don't lose control of the pursuit vehicle. I'm actually going to hang behind this armored SUV, because if I get close to it, he will shred up my car. The game really wants you to capture it, but yeah. There's a lot of mission left to drive here, and I want to do it in the comfort of this really fast car. There we go.
Nice.
That was a bit
Also,
slow,
it's
but
probably
that's
worth
fine.
noting as well, this is only a minor thing, and this is just for the game in general, but the voice actors and the voice lines that we used in this game are different for both PAL
Oh yeah.
and NTSC, and obviously
The NA voice actors are so
in.
much better.
Yeah.
One
God,
thing
I
to
forget
mention as well-
the name of the chief, but he's a legendary voice actor.
Brett Tadashore.
There you
Brett
go.
Tadashore.
I know him best for voice acting Baird in the Gears of War series, if I'm not mistaken.
I know him from Xur, from Destiny.
Yeah. He gets around.
But if I remember correctly, it was uncredited.
Yeah, which is
for
unfortunate.
voice.
Alright, this
For
on
EJ,
foot section, I
do
might die.
find I do find some of the voice lines to be some of the voice lines are quite funny as well. So for example, when we did Atomic Ambush, he says something like, "Are you driving under the influence?" and stuff like that.
Back to the convoy.
Yeah, that's it. And then
My
but
brother drives better than you.
we mentioned about Leone
This is rough.
before. Leone, again, we did mention this like right near the start, but Leone is one of them characters that you just wish he came back.
No! Damn it.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, this mission sucks.
Somebody cap that.
If you go out of order, you will get boom roasted by all the sawed-offs that do insane amounts of damage. Even crouching doesn't really save you too much damage. This mission has been a thorn in my side for a very long time.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, there were differences for Killer 66 voices in the PAL and NA version. From my
I
memory.
really noticed when I played it through. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, I did, but my memory isn't that well.
Also, the SUV that's on steroids from Hell is back again, and it's back chasing us again.
Also known as the
Is that what he calls it? The chief? Is it like he's like, holy cow, you've got an SUV on steroids
coming right for you.
And he's back. It's like he wants to be our friend. I mean, I'm sure we could just stop and and have
Shake
a chat.
hands,
But,
you know.
nah, I mean, well, we can't shake hands because obviously social distancing and all that.
Oh, good
but-
point. Yeah, there's
know.
an entire pandemic that's ravaging the country.
And you don't know
right
where his hands have been. He's a convict. God knows. Oh God. Especially
they-
what
criminals
the
don't
cars
wash
and
their
vehicles he's been
hands.
working on. Yeah, criminals don't wash their hands. They just wash their hands in blood because that's logical apparently.
They do
Well,
lots
I don't know.
of laundering.
Exactly. Yeah. But in terms of like the convicts and stuff like that, one thing I can't help but notice on half of the missions that you do for convicts, it's raining. I don't know why.
This is
It must be just like
does it rain on
depressing
Forger?
rain.
I think
I
it
mean,
does.
the Forger, it rains in the Forger, it rains on Stitch in Time, rains on whatever the Hardballs one is.
No, it doesn't. It's nighttime.
Is it?
Yeah, it does not
remember.
rain on.
Yeah.
It's
Am
pretty
I on
dark.
fire? No, I'm not. Whatever,
Somehow
I'm
your
meter.
car is. I'm gonna say somehow you're not on fire.
Yeah, so when you run out of vehicle health, you have a small grace period before you have to jump to another car and it blows up and dies and you're sad. And that, I've never seen it straddle the line like that. That was some like Street Fighter 0 HP thing happening there.
Pretty convenient if you ask me.
Yeah, that would have been a lot worse. And you can rescue your car by using meter.
Also, what's convenient is that yellow SUV always comes out at the end. It's just like, now you see me, now you don't.
So
It's
funny
kinda
thing about
funny.
that is whenever those civilian cars reach sort of the end of their path, if you jump onto them before they disappear, you can actually go out of bounds. But unfortunately, we haven't found a way for that to save time anywhere. One day, I hope.
It is quite funny to look at, though, when it was first discovered, because, like, believe it or not, the way it was originally found out, I think TG found this out, and it was by complete, obviously.
Yeah, it was. I did not know what happened.
Accident, but it wasn't even via jumping on a car. So to activate it or to perform it, I think you jump on a car just as it gets near the end or something.
Yeah,
you
right before it teleports
don't
away.
you? And then when it teleports back, you can turn all out of bounds basically and drive through buildings and stuff. It's all texture. But one of the things, I think the first time it happened was during a Vixen's mission.
No, it was during the Capellis. I was fighting
through.
Dawn, and I accidentally jumped to the wrong car, and then I got teleported out of bounds.
Ah.
The good one was
the Vixens.
both bullets.
It was the Vixen's one, though.
Yeah, Babes, Bullets, and Bullets was a different kind of out of bounds, though. Also,
Vixen's was the fun one, because Vixen's you got pushed out by a wrecked car.
No, I pushed myself
It
out
blew
with a
up,
truck.
didn't it?
That was on purpose.
I thought it
Anyways,
blew
it's
you up.
hardballs time. Everyone's get your giggles out now.
Haha.
I'm watching a TG, Kappa.
Uh-huh. Hotline has a very good time. Well, you can't say that anymore because I've beaten you.
Oh, you.
Still. It's like TG knows this game really well or something.
So yeah, Hardballs has 3 things he cycles through for the boss, a lot like Don Capelli, where, he has guards you need to defeat in order he pops out. When he does pop out, you're free to shoot at him. I did not race ahead in time.
Nice.
They should still be in range. Heck yeah. So after you deal with his guards, then people pop out of the bus and throw junk at you, and then you have to defeat them before you can re-hit Hardballs.
Believe it or not, Hardballs, in my eyes, is a boss that you actually have to kill quick. Even on a casual playthrough, you need to kill him fast.
Hardballs is where a lot of people end up quitting this game, because...
I mean, Don had like 20 odd miles or something.
Oh yeah, here's a fun
Hardball
thing. If you're out of
has
ammo
the
for your Enforcer, so I have 0 out of 30 there, and you do a Justice Jump, you can just have fully automatic fire there.
Nice.
And just rip through everybody.
Also, there's always 3 bad guys. There's always 3. Always 3 bad guys.
So that wasn't the fastest
There you go.
Hardballs I've ever seen, but that wasn't bad.
Excellent work, kid.
I thought it was pretty decent.
Same.
And with that, that's actually 3 gangs. So now there's going to be like a long, hard wait until you get to the other 2. So that's like half of the gangs wiped out from the city. So we've dealt with Capelli's, we took Don down, he's back in prison. We supposedly blew up the Colonel, literally his hat was the only thing that was left.
Well, we saw at the
And
very end of that
Hardballs-
cutscene that he escaped to Cuba somehow.
Hardball's got his wish, which was going back to prison with a big hard ball on his nuts. So, yeah, he should be called Hard Nuts now, really, but you know, so, Hardball's back in prison.
We've castrated the
Back where he
gang, as it were.
belongs. Won't want to drop that in the shower, Jesus Christ. Break the tiles.
Alright, we have an auto-scroller.
You messing with my truck time.
You're messing
Kappa.
with my truck? You're messing with my truck, dipstick?
That's so good. Not gonna lie.
Castration 100.
You still laughing about that?
No, it's just what I saw Transpoint right in chat. So, it wasn't, I didn't come up with that, it's just like his role, I was like, oh god.
Alright, so, the reason I call this mission is an auto-scroller, normally you have to defend these Vixens from jumping onto your truck, but if you just hang out on the left side, nothing happens. It's actually faster in these heavy truck vehicles to just ride on the walls rather than even think about turning. Because if you turn for even more than like a couple of frames, your top speed tanks. So just ricocheting off of walls is the fastest option here. And we're basically buying time until the mid-boss comes out and gets tired of our shtick.
How many gangs of, I say how many gangs, how many groups of these cars come at you?
I don't know, they stop eventually.
Eventually they just give up and go, nah, let's stop. Oh Christ. Good God.
so I'll have to burn meter here or else I die. She should be coming out in the next group of cars.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, so after this bridge, she should pop out and say hello to us.
And by hello, it's a killer welcome, literally. So introducing the Fox. You won't see it for very long, but this is the Fox. So the
that was almost awesome.
Up.
Dang it.
That was actually pretty decent.
That this car almost got hung up on that civilian, and I could have jumped to it before we hit that corner.
So you have to actually deal with the Fox in several ways. That being that you need to shoot her constantly and everything. You can actually get her down to a certain amount of health. Which, is it about a quarter health you can get her down?
Yeah, when she's down to her last quarter, you cannot damage her anymore in this section. So all you need to do is, you will be able to deal that much damage easily. So all you need to do is keep the pedal down and get to the end of this section as quick as possible. Because the second phase of this fight, well, I guess third if you count the truck, will not start until we've met up with the main road again and we're off this trail. So as you see here, the Fox is no longer taking any more damage, even though I'm sort of still mag dumping her. So once we go around this corner, the next phase will begin. And I want to start doing a justice jump on this car the moment the cutscene starts. Perfect, and I'm on the car, and I skip that slow-mo.
Nice. Also, she's going to try and fire rockets at us. We're not going to have to worry about this. We've got a secret weapon. It's called a machine gun.
A chain pistol,
and it's
as it were.
Chain pistol.
Alright,
I mean,
another tactic coming up here to avoid a justice jump. There's always going to be a civilian here. I'm going to ram into him. And that's going to lose me meter, so I can jump back onto this car, gain that meter back, and that should buy me enough time for the Fox to turn around to be able to shoot again, and we don't have to do a slow-mo jump there.
Nice.
Nice meter.
That was a pretty good Fox.
See what happens when you listen to me, kid? Nice work.
I think on that one, is it a case of you have to take down more criminals to get an A rank, or?
Yeah. Alright.
Also, that's the lieutenant dealt with the Vixens. Now, you're probably wondering when we're going to meet the Killer 66. That's not far away.
No, after this mission, we'll be doing pretty much every Killer 66 mission apart from the final boss in a row.
We've still got mission 5 yet, haven't we?
Okay.
Bullets at the moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, will TG be able to beat the bump?
So the main reason I call it the bump, I'm trying to think, how far is it? Can you remember?
You'll know it when you see it.
No. So at some point during this route, there's what
I want to hit.
What
That's a bike.
TG calls the bump. Now,
right, I want to hit
the
one. That's
reason
another
why
bike.
It's called the bump. He wants to make sure.
The 3 bikes in a row. What the heck? Okay, that's unfortunate.
Nice. Basically, what he wants to do is he wants to destroy. He not destroy. Sorry, he wants to take over all of the trucks before he gets to the next one. So he doesn't.
Oh, this is how I clipped
anything.
out of bounds that one time. Oh dang, it didn't happen.
But it's no big deal. I mean, it is a big deal if we don't get it before the bump. But the bump is a good reference point as to doing this mission faster.
No, you want to beat the bump. Not getting the bump wastes almost more than 30 seconds.
So the idea is you want to take down, capture the trucks, and then start capturing the boats.
Yeah, if you see along the left side
is
of the river here, there's boats there.
There's two parts of this mission. I think
Excellent. We beat the bump.
Easily. Nice.
So yeah, if you look on the mini-map after this slight left-hander, we're going to be going under 2 bridges. The road part goes way the heck over to the left. Right there, and you see it joins up back here, so we basically shortcut that whole section.
Being in the right place at the right time. Also, I thought you'd get an ammo refill with that mission, I guess not.
No.
With that bit.
Alright, I gotta... this should be fine. Oh, this is an excellent Babes, Boats, and Bullet. Okay, yeah, that was not bad. Would not be mad if I got that in a run. It's very easy to lose a lot of time there based on The most annoying part about boats in this game is when you try to capture them and you kill the driver, they might just randomly careen over to a direction if they're making like slight corrections, since there are waves. And then you can just go into a wall and then you lose a lot of time and it's annoying.
Also, introducing the Killer 66.
And one of the second most boring mission in the game.
I mean, in terms of difficulty on a casual playthrough, you'll probably struggle on this group of.
Oh yeah, the Killer
criminals
66
showing
is a
more than the
whole of the
victims,
hardest
I'd say.
gang in the game. But the reason I say that this mission is so boring is because there's a chopper gunner segment. But it's not like Day of the Dam where killing all of the people in this convoy makes it go faster. You have to wait for the duration of the stage anyways. So we're not under any rush right now. I could like purposefully miss. I could like screw about, like tell jokes. And, like I went to the bathroom during this stage once on a run. So.
That's literally how much time you've got. There is I'm gonna say the bike, I always found the bike harder to grasp. I don't know
We'll
why.
talk about that when we get to risky business.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. That's so hard.
Ugh. Risky business is the last mission in the Killer 66 line before we get to Monster Toshima, and it has the worst chopper gunner segment in the game because the people you need to shoot are so minuscule, we are so far away from them. And it's just, But yeah, here we go. We've defeated the whole convoy, and this is a time where I encourage everybody to take a stretch break, get a drink of water, you don't want to be sitting in your chair for too long. Ooh, that was a loud crack. Wow. I don't know if the microphone heard that.
You're gonna say you sounded like you broke your back for a second. Like,
But yeah, posture check. Make sure you're not ruining your spine. Make sure your shoulders aren't forward.
also, this would probably be a good time to read donations.
Yeah, as well,
This
because
mission's actually probably another
it's
one.
not gonna
that's
end
good time to
in
read,
500 meters. We have to do like circling a compound, and it doesn't matter how many people we defeat in this compound. We still got to do 2 whole rotations, so we've still got time. Like I can make cars blow up. That's cool. Ooh, I can like shoot at Killer 66. The whole reason this section exists is to make the upcoming on foot section have less enemies. But as you'll see in a moment, that won't matter.
Yeah,
because-
literally. He wishes he was kidding, but he's not.
So for most on-foot sections, you have to defeat all the enemies in the area, but you can just leave this one the moment you spawn in, and that's what we're going to be doing. I'm just wasting time here.
Also, it's fair to assume that all the cars that are in this game are all based off something. So, for example, the Killer 66 are based off like Japanese sports cars.
Imports,
So,
racers and whatnot.
for example, the main like long cars, so the ones that he's been blowing up, they've got a resemblance to like a Nissan Skyline, I think.
Yep.
And the one that you end up taking.
Damn.
Excuse me,
Mad
gotta go,
dogs
pardon me,
walking.
gotta speed run. Hold on, gotta go. You're holding me down. Come on, let's go. I got a car to get to. Okay, we're done with that.
There you go. That's the on-fault section.
Take all day. Why don't
Yeah, this is one of those stages in the game where you can only lose time. Now we just gotta put the pedal down for 10 kilometers.
Also, the one thing to mention is the car that we're driving here. This is actually... It's weird to say this, because I never think it is, but it has the fastest, like the highest top speed.
Yeah, this is one of the
it
most
actually
broken
does.
cars in the game. In terms
Well,
of handling,
I
in
never
terms
thought
of
it did.
acceleration and top speed. This is the best car in the game.
But the payoff, motorcycle physics.
Yeah, for some reason the developers decided to give this car motorcycle physics. So if you hit a wall or you hit another civilian car and your tires start to spin out, you will just go everywhere. Left, right, the center, the wall, the hot dog cart. There's nothing you won't hit when you start to spin out in this thing. And it's quite infuriating. For those of you who run all races, all I have to say is the word wheelman and you all get angry.
And perfect.
Wheelman. Long story short, that obviously, as TD just said, it's basically one of the races. You drive this car. It's not a fun race because there's a lot of wall riding and wall bashing, and it's pretty difficult to get right.
Yeah, imagine every time you have to wall bump in this game, you have to crazy counter steer so you don't fly into any other walls. Alright, I should probably burn meters soon since I am low on HP. I'm gonna wait for this guy though. Since he does unload a mag on you. And I think that's gonna do us to the end of this mission.
Oh my god! I am going to miss my hair.
But we do have to put up with Porsche's contemplating annoyance.
Yeah, even more reason to go fast. We gotta make her hair appointment.
And she broke a nail.
The best thing is like, do you know who you're working for? And it's like, well, yes, because we won't be picking you up if we didn't, did we?
Yeah, really, huh?
Duh.
Like, so
Of course we do. It's like, I'm the president's daughter. Yeah, well, you seem to act like it, actually. You know, we're picking you up. Like, you know, the worst thing about this mission is, we don't get a thank you off them.
No, we don't.
Oh, thanks for saving me. No, it's, I hate you.
More whining.
Or, yeah, it's just whining. Like, oh, I broke your nail. So what? I'm saving your life and you're worried about your friggin' nails? God damn, woman, calm down. Bloody hell. Honestly, they couldn't have made her a more annoying character if they tried, I swear.
Alright, we're going into the big game from
The big time loss.
To the big time loss.
Yeah.
In a vacuum, the big game is the perfect level to show somebody what this video game is about. It contains all 3 pillars of gameplay, and it requires a lot of skill in order to do fast and not screw up. So this first section is a time trial with motorcycle physics. Yikes. The second section is an on-foot, where we have to clear out a stadium, loading area where a bunch of money trucks are being staged. Then from there we have to capture the money trucks, go from car to car, and then lastly it ends on a chopper gunner section to clean up the rest of the Killer 66. So if there was a demo for Pursuit Force, this is the level I would pick for it. Also, those hills that I just went on are insane. If I did not brake at any point and I just kept full speed, you can almost clip through the skybox if you get sent upwards hitting a wall, and then you'll spin out and be sad. But yeah, and since we are on a motorcycle, one mistake here hitting any vehicle is going to cost us an insane amount of time, because backing up, getting ourselves righted after we make a mistake here is not great.
Yeah, getting your car back up to speed and stuff, it's pretty difficult.
Yeah, but thankfully, as I said, the traffic placements are not random. This pattern is the same every single time. There's going to be a car on the outside here. There he is. Or I should say they are.
It's like he knew he was there.
I know. In fact, if you go a little bit slower, that car is actually at a really annoying spot. It's like right in your line if you want to wall bonk that. But here we are at the
stadium.
Yeah.
So that's the first gameplay mechanic in the mission. So you got
there we go.
Just your straight up driving. Now we've got our on foot sections taking down the Killer 66,
Right, this is
which
really
there's 10 of. What's really awkward about this is that the characters all spawn in different locations every time, I think. I've never managed to get them to spawn in the same location.
Well, they
twice.
spawn in the same locations, but where they branch out is completely up to where you are standing. Alright, we're gonna have to panic. I don't like... While we're in this takedown animation, we are immune to bullets, and I was low enough health that I was kind of scared, and I wanted the gun.
Also,
So that was me being a scaredy cat. If I had done that much cleaner, I would not have to resort to getting that.
Also, when you move to the next section, your health and car health instantly recharge. Like,
Yeah, and you get your ammo back. Okay, I'm gonna wait.
Definitely.
There we go. So, when you're doing the animation of climbing onto the truck there, you do not get thrown off by left and right turns. So I waited in order to get onto the hood of the car there to sort of make sure I didn't get thrown off.
Also, you just completely collaterate a bloody sports car.
Collaborated.
That's a word, isn't it? Collaterate,
Alright, there we go. So this was a bit early. Hopefully I can take care of this. Okay, there we go. I do want to grab on that car because it is much faster than this truck. Perfect. Alright, then the last truck is up ahead. This is really good, by the way. This is faster than I usually do this. Usually I mess up in some way. If you get to this last truck fast enough, he actually gets stuck here, and it's very easy to jump on him. Perfect.
Oh, that's pretty close. That's not far off.
So I'm gonna dodge here to grip the car so I don't get thrown off. I'm gonna do it again here. Oh, I guess it's not worth it.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Okay. I was like watching. I was like, oh, he's.
Don't worry about me. I got this. Don't worry about me. I got this.
He's a highly trained professional.
Yeah, close course.
Yeah, but
Also, speaking of motorbike physics, we're back in this car again.
Which is what we want, because we got a lot of distance between us and the bridge we need to drive to. Alright, so here's a great corner. If you wall bonk off of this, you will get thrown into a parking lot and then into a wall. Hold left, and you're fine. If you did not counter steer there, I would have had a lot of fun going dead into a wall. And yeah.
And it is, if we can keep meter through this, it's quite crucial because it means, obviously, again, as we said before, having a full meter deals extra damage. So getting a full meter a lot, or as you've noticed already by now, probably on more than one occasion.
Yeah, I'm doing
meter a lot.
Yeah, I'm doing my best to try and avoid all the traffic here because I want full meter for the upcoming chopper gunner section that caps off this level. Ooh, excellent. Okay.
Also, you can't really get these guys that are here, can you? Until like after like a few seconds, you eventually do that.
Got him.
They eventually show up into view. They take a bit, but they show up. It's just right at the very start. There's no way of getting them at the start.
Ooh, this
it's
is
just
juicy.
A case of
Okay.
after a bit, they show up, and there you go.
I have to make up for the fact I didn't get dam warp. I gotta show off that I can't actually aim this thing. Oh, jeez. Sarah, keep the chopper steady. Come on.
I hate the fact you have to go over the freeways. It's like, come on, keep it steady.
Well, they're sort of lined up in a way that would make sense if you're sort of like casually going through these groups of cars. But because we're going as fast as possible and our aim is really good, we're sort of breaking the sequence a little bit. So, for instance, you're normally supposed to be on that last group of car for this section, and we're going to go up in the air very soon, and hopefully I'm going to destroy this car before we get too far up. Unfortunately, we are what I'd call too far up. Normally I'd beat the level before now, but I'm bad. There we go. So not the best.
Also, a nice missile comes right at you.
Yeah, you don't worry
Nothing
about
happens.
them. But yeah, other than that chopper gunner section and the on foot, that the actual truck section itself and the beginning motorcycle section was really good. Hey, that's a high score.
Nice, 5-4K.
Probably because the range bonus for clearing the trucks was probably so much. Alright, the Killer 66 mid-boss.
So this is a guy called Sudeko. Or Sudeko, or whatever you
Sudeko,
pronounce it. And, long story short, he's a scientist.
Well, no, he's the
kind
rolling right-hand man.
No,
just
so he
dealing
likes
narcotics.
he likes drugs that like to go mental, I think. I don't know.
The video game
He's a bit of a
drugs
nut.
trademark.
So, you know how in every game you have, oh no, there's a gang that's dealing with drugs. Yeah,
They're
this is the
dealing
guy
gristle.
that's dealing drugs. As the chief would later put it, these guys sell drugs to kids, make them pay. So,
That's your motivation. Because
yeah,
they sell drugs to kids, they must all
that's
die.
your motivation, exactly. These guys are worse than the Teletubbies. They're just
What the hell? So for this section, it's again, it's another tailing section like we saw for the Deadeye fight, but it's really strict. So we can't do any funny business with trying to get meter early. They're just there's no way we can even get a single brute force and get away with it. It is super strict. You have like 3 seconds if you're near them, 5, and the range is pretty far back. So. And they're moving really fast too, so even if I were to catch up with them, I might not have enough speed for it to count as a brute force. So it's just very annoying.
Also, these driving segments would make for pretty good sections for donation reasons.
Oh yeah, we got nothing going on until we reach the next upcoming on-foot section. Just gotta drive. There's no way you can make this faster. The level doesn't end with you, it ends when Sudeko gets to the end of the level. So honestly, I could like brake now and not really have to worry about anything.
One thing I will say is that you've probably noticed by now that we even mentioned this before, is that Pursuit Force is an action-packed game from start to finish because of the missions. I mean, the missions and stuff like you can choose to take a car, go on a route, go on a time trial and stuff like that. So there's kind of something here for people who like racing and stuff like that. Although the racing side of things, there's not that much to say.
Nah.
It's kind of there is the races on the side, which you have to unlock anyway by playing through the story. So you'll have to play through the story one way or another. However, one thing to note is that there's quite a fair bit going on during the entire run. So that's something.
Oh, my health. My health. We're fine. Oh, I did not have to arrest that second guy. Dang. I had enough ammo.
It's a good job you did, though.
Yeah. Just gotta be safe. Alright, nothing to this. Just mash R and avoid the gigantic hitbox these grenades have. If you
I think it's fair to say this is like another, what's it called? Colonel fight, or whatever it was
yeah,
called.
it's got shades of the General, except Sudeko is a one-trick pony. He does nothing but fire these grenades at you. He does have a gas attack, but you'll only get hit by it if you're trailing right behind him. Oh, I had to open up my big dumb mouth, didn't I? So now my controls are reversed until the effects are over, but again, no big deal.
I never knew that.
Because you never get hit by it.
No, I've never realised. I've got hit by it loads of times, but I never realised that it affected your controls.
Alright, that's Sudeko down. Oh, my hand is starting to hurt with all this mashing.
That's one nutcase off the street.
Oh, normally I get a B for this mission.
So we have a couple of missions left. So as
yeah, we have
TG
5
said,
missions left, by my count.
As TG has said in the past, is that we do have to do 5 missions of the Killer 66 in a row. This is a case of there's no way around it. It's just a case of you're dealing with the Killer 66, so why not?
Yeah, it's just the way I've ordered these missions in a way so that I have to do less menuing, essentially. So I can just mash X and go through as many things as possible.
I was gonna say, from the looks of things, you're at about 140 on the time, so
which is like really good. We're on track for this to be a great run, even if it isn't close to world record. I don't know if we're sub 2. I did die at what's its face? Stitch in Time.
I mean, a 210 estimate is pretty generous, but then again, there is a lot going on this run, so yeah. It makes sense.
So the story behind this game, for me at least, was I ran this game for April Fools a couple months ago, thinking that it was just an excuse to play the game again, and it wasn't actually that good of a speed game. But considering how I'm now running it as my main speed game, you can probably imagine how that went.
Yeah, this is one of them games where it was like, oh, this is probably going to be crap, and then it's like, hey, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, because when you play this game more, you're like, oh, that was fast. Does that apply to this mission? Oh, it did. What?
I have to admit, that was kind of like me with Hot Wheels when I started playing that, and we did the blind run. I was like, I've never been one to play games like a Hot Wheels game or something, because I always thought, they're probably pretty crap handling, they can't be taken seriously. I'd always take Colin McRae over that. And then we played it for the first time and I was like, actually, that's not even that bad. Can't lie.
Okay, I'm scared, so I'm going to use meter, even though we'll go slower because of it.
So for those that don't know about what this mission involves,
stealing the pursuit car back.
Yeah. We basically had our Super Pursuit car has been robbed by the Killer 66. Some smart ass thought it'd be a good idea to nick it. Well, you don't nick a car from Pursuit Force and live to tell the tale. That's what this mission. I mean, you're gonna get an ass whooping from a guy called the Cop. You know you're in trouble when a guy like that. You know when a guy with a name like that is gonna, you know, he's gonna do some serious damage.
So because
Speaking
we're
of
focused on just putting our pedal down and going as fast as possible, we are going to have a Nissan dealership behind us in a hot moment because we're gonna actually avoid eliminating enemies as much as possible. We'll have to eliminate some to fill out our meter because we will eventually take too much damage. But we're gonna look in our rear view now and again and see how many people want to kill us.
The Killer 66 basically send an entire army for you, even though you're stealing something that's actually yours.
Ooh, that's damage. I had to reload.
Yeah.
Alright, this turn.
They're drawing.
Okay, that turn, if you do a regular wall block, you will flip over.
I mean, I'll give them credit for trying. Like, gee whiz.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I need meter now. Okay, thank you.
You got me.
That was close.
That was
Holy
way
cow.
too close. I took the... Getting caught with your pants down reloading while there's a Killer 66 member on your hood or trunk leads to so much health damage. And if you're playing this game on the Iron Man difficulty that you unlock when you B-rank Monster Toshima, you cannot let a bad guy on your car for an extended period of time because you have half health. Oh, this frame rate, ugh!
Also, how's the Nissan dealership coming along?
We got about, like, what is that, 5 cars back
That's a
there?
That's a showroom.
That's a showroom floor. We don't have quite a dealership yet.
We're not even done yet.
I don't know if they even offer some 0% financing for 18 months.
Yeah, exactly.
All cars
Like,
must
buy
go.
your brand new Yakuza-style Nissan Skyline for just $15,000. Actually, I'm gonna say that's pretty cheap.
That's actually really, like, is it used?
50,000. I don't know.
Alright, I need meter or I'm going to die.
I'm not gonna lie. Every time I see that guy with the guy who's on the back with the Yakuza style,
Yeah, with like the trench coat looking
shirt, I always think that's Jericho from the Driver series because he looks just like him. Because he always used to wear like a black leather jacket sort of thing.
Okay, I am in trouble. I'm not in trouble anymore. We're fine.
I'm in trouble. I'm not in trouble.
Well, if I didn't get meter, I'd be in trouble because I was like low on HP and low on vehicle armor.
Great job, recovering
Okay.
the pursuit car. I'll pretend not to notice the
Okay,
spot
so
on it. I've
we've
seen
done.
worse.
I'm pretty sure Pursuit Plunder is a tough mission, but it's not as hard as the next one.
Oh
The next one
my
is really tough.
goodness, this mission is bad. This is everything bad about this game in one mission, and I love this game to death, but the starting on foot section isn't that bad, but the chopper gunner section is dreadful.
The one thing to mention about this is, as the Chief put, this is where Chief says his famous line of,
I love
"These
it.
guys sell drugs to kids, make them pay." So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make sure that little Jimmy doesn't get his hands on some Killer 66 drugs.
I wonder what the
I don't
K66
know.
deal.
The chief said you might need a hand.
Probably
knows?
like really cheap cocaine, like
It said 800K in this cutscene, from what I remember.
for baking powder. Okay, here's the worst chopper gunner segment in the game, and you'll see why in a
Wait,
quick moment.
Damn, that's why it's so cheap. It's baking powder.
Hey, that'd be great in my pancakes. Little Jimmy loves
Hey.
pancakes.
Hey! Well, that's why I say that these guys sell drugs to kids. Because they sell pancake mix. Like,
Alright.
oh, little, like, mommy,
Oh.
mommy, look.
That was a good one. 2 bars before you switch.
Yeah, this is the kind of mission where you're happy that you took out that much health. Oh!
Yep.
Oh, we're doing damage. Oh, we're doing damage.
Oh yeah.
One more bar. Yeah, there's no. Oh my god, come on over here, come on. Okay, so this mission, we're like across the river. It wants you to attack these boats, but that's not part of our objective, so we're just gonna ignore them. You need to shoot at these tiny, minuscule cars, and if you want to go as fast as possible, it's just like Day of the Damned. Defeating as many of them as possible will make you go faster, because when there's no enemies in your view in these chopper gunner sections, Sarah, the helicopter pilot, will like boost forward and go to the next group. And if we're going through all those groups as fast as possible, that means we're getting through all the cars we need to. Because anybody who we do not kill in this chopper gunner segment, we need to clean up on foot later.
Oh, you say clean up on foot, but we need to give chase and kill him in person via car chase.
So,
Pretty much. When in doubt, take him out.
actually, this is going really well so far.
So there is like a range of vehicles that we have on this mission. So you have
Poop.
the biker dude. Oh crikey, the biker dude, which, being quite honest, the guy doesn't know how to ride a bike because he's been blown up. So that's the last we'll see of him for a bit.
Alright, if we get this motorcycle, we're doing amazing.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's slowing down for us.
What?
Yeah, this group does that once in a while. Okay, we got him. Hopefully we can speed up and catch up to the next group in time, but 9 out of 16 is an excellent score for this mission. Normally I only get around like 7 out of 16, or maybe even 6 out of 16, and you have to sort of do it from there, but I'm laughing at 9 out of 16. And the
Pretty good
upcoming...
aiming.
Having luck. 10 out of 16.
Oh, we might. No, it's too late. I want to keep that Corvette. Oh, I dealt some damage. So here's the plan. I'm going to shoot everything that isn't a convertible because they don't have a lot of health.
Sugar.
And then I want to steal the convertibles for myself. Get me on.
Right, so
Oh my goodness, look how much damage these guys do at the end of the game. Oh, there's half my health bar and I wasn't even on there for long.
quite a fair bit. Also, the weapons that the Killer 66 use aren't actually too bad.
Well, they're like second
Truth be
to the
told.
Vixens, if you ask them.
They are powerful, but they're not like that powerful.
I don't know, the
So-
Punisher 3 shots like that, it's really good. I'd say it's better than the Ceramic, but the Ceramic is just so satisfying. Motorcycle physics! So all we have is this group left. Like, we are doing excellent for a marathon run of this.
Also, the reason why TG is shooting the cars that he's shooting is because
Yeah, they have less
these
health.
cars are weak, like really weak.
Can I jump onto the car? Okay, that could have been so much worse. Okay, there you go. Woo!
Just like that, and that's how you do that mission. Again, that's probably one of the toughest in the entire game.
It's so...
Yeah.
To do fast. You have a lot of time to clean up afterwards, so it's not like it's run over if you don't get a lot of people in the chopper gunner segment. But if you want world record, oof.
Gonna be a doozy.
Girl's best friend. Yeah. Okay, this is the only other mission other than the Dawn boss fight where I have safe strats for marathons. So normally there's a back alley that we'd cut through, but it has a staircase, and that staircase loves throwing us into walls if it doesn't give us how we want it. So we're gonna go around the longer way.
Get those diamonds back.
So normally you cut over to the right, but not gonna risk it with a marathon run. So, the strats I use for the... I missed. Okay, this isn't gonna be fast. The strats I use for the actual Vixen's RTA is a lot more all-in than the one I'm doing now. In fact, I've already screwed this up royally. We will not be doing this mission fast. Is we all go all the way up to the second group, and then go from there. So I need to destroy this car before we jump to the SUV, because you need meter or I'm going to be dead meat. And Justice Cancel to get my health back, because holy moly we need it. Alright, we are not doing well in terms of going fast, but we'll see what I can do.
Heads up, the boy in blue is back.
It's not the worst. Okay, so for this, I want to take out the sports car before the SUV, because the sports car rubber bands to the SUV, and the SUV gets taken out first, then they're not going anywhere. But it looks like the game doesn't want me to do that, unfortunately. So, oh well. As you see there, I take over the SUV, and the other car sort of lags behind there. That's no good. And as you see there, we're sort of going to a crawl because it's trying to keep with that SUV, and now I think we've lost our meal ticket to the speed strap, the first group here. Because if you catch this first group at this corner, they just stand still. But as you said there, as see there, we're not going to do the speed strat. So we're going to lose quite a bit of time on world record on here. So again, you want to go after the SUV first, because these other two cars are going to rubber band to it. I'm stuck on the wrong side of the barrier, and I'm getting holes punched in me. I'm on fire. Please let me jump. I'm about to die. Please let me jump. We got there. Okay.
Good for one thing. Target practice.
Alright, jump before I get meter. Oh, that's not happening. Damn. Alright, that kind of works. Alright, the ceramic will be able to melt through these before I die. We got meter. Jump over to here. And this was slow. We should have beaten this level way before now, but we'll take what we can get.
Good work, ladies.
I was hoping to show off the actual speed track for this, but I'm bad.
Well,
So, oops.
aren't we proud of ourselves?
Also, how I said before about, oh yeah, you deal with like 2 or 3 gangs in one go than the last 2. Well, speaking of which, we're about to finish this off. First of which...
2 bosses
Whiplash.
left and we've done the run.
Literally the last 2 missions are the 2 last bosses, so... If you think this game can't have anything more to throw at you, think
The
again.
end of this run is so tense, especially if you're on pace. Alright, so Whiplash has 2 different forms, for lack of a better word. Form 1 is that she's going to jump to car, whipping your car. And the speed strat here is just to keep the pedal down, because if we go fast enough and destroy the car that Whiplash is on top of, she has no car to jump to, because normally there's a bunch of ads on the sides for her to jump to. She's on fire, and if you look at the top there, she's taking damage this whole time she's on fire, and that's excellent. Alright, I want to do something here. This might actually be another marathon strat, because normally you want to keep in this police cruiser and just don't waste time jumping on other cars. But there is a Vixen car. There's our ticket. I'm going to grab this just to be safe, or not. Please let me jump on your car. Okay, there we go. I was hoping to take it over sooner than this, because these 2 women love mashing left and right on their D-pad and to shake you off. And we want to be dealing damage to Whiplash every waking moment we can in this section. And also, we never want to release the gas pedal. We want to get to where the second phase starts. Because it's just like the Fox. She will not get into the super death helicopter in the second phase until we get beside the river. That might seem familiar to earlier this run. I think after this car, we're good to go. I really need to watch out for my health. Please tell me there's someone I can jump to. Excellent. Okay, I'm actually gonna... no, I'm gonna get the other car up here in a moment. Alright, that's the sound of the helicopter. I want to jump to this car. There we go. So I'm going to damage her a little bit. I'm going to waste time, because if you're on an enemy car, the car does not lose health from the rockets that Whiplash is firing at us. And I want as much health as possible. There we go. So I'm going to try to do this fight in 2 cycles, although this is really difficult. Ooh, I don't know if I dealt enough damage. We'll see. We might miss it by pixels, and I'll be really frustrated. Okay, open fire. We might be good for 2 cycle. Maybe. Yes, we got it. Okay.
Yes. Nice.
Congratulations.
That is really difficult. You need to be dealing as much damage as possible within the time you have. And if you slip up just a tiny little bit, if you sort of stop firing at any point, it's very easy to go into 3 cycles.
Also, say bye to the Vixens.
Uh-huh.
Another explosive climax.
So, I believe we're looking at a 2-hour time right now. I don't think this will sub 2. Yeah, the 2-hour barrier was a big one I ran into when I was grinding this game all of April and early May. And, yeah. A lot of my strategies I had to come up with. I had to work for that sub 2, man. One of the most satisfying accomplishments I've gotten in a speedrun game. Here we are, the last boss, the final boss, the penultimate level in Pursuit Force.
Monster Tsushima.
Yeah, so it's going to start off with a chopper gunner segment, and people are going to jump on top of a gold transport, and we need to shoot them off the roof. However, if we destroy the cars around the gold transport before they jump, we can save having to shoot them off the top. So my aim has to be on point, and I'm worried it isn't. We'll see, though. Alright, I need to kill this left one. It's not looking good, though.
Check it out.
Dang it!
They're boarding the transport.
Okay, so we'll have to do this first transport in 2 people.
Incoming.
Oh, it's behind the truck. Come on. Okay, there you go. Alright, so that wasn't super good.
Roger that, Chief. Locating second transport.
Hopefully the second truck will go well. So same thing, I need to kill this car before it goes behind the truck and I can no longer shoot at him. Oh, come on! 1 bar left.
Damn! Our tail rotor's been hit.
Hurry, they're on the transport.
Dang it. Okay, this is not great. Really? Oh my goodness, this is super not great. Yeah, so you can imagine those 2 guys were just from that car I failed to hit. So that's how on point your aim needs to be if you want to do this fight as fast as possible. Okay. So I'm gonna focus hard for this. Does anyone... Viper, can you explain the strategy for beating Toshima?
Pretty much, you want to stay a suitable distance away from him with meter, and you want to try and make sure that... The thing is, keeping your distance, you're still able to target him and shoot him at the same time, and he can't touch you with the flamethrower. So he has a flamethrower, for those that don't know, and when he touches your car health will deplete, and you have to swerve around to distinguish the fire. However, if you keep your distance from him, as you can just see there, the car being set on fire, but if you keep your distance from him, his fire... whatever it is, his flamethrower will not actually touch your car. You'll be able to still shoot him. Every now and again he disperses.
Yeah, when he's at his when he gets past a quarter health.
And when you have these cars chasing him, he then respawns again, as you can see. Now we've got the SMG, which is going to unload all that into him, as you can see. And again, he tries to kill you on more than one occasion, and it's fair to say that it's kind of just rinse and repeat stuff. But on the first one, he just releases the sports car. On the second one, he actually has the a weaker car, which you can see is the black one here. So we're going to destroy that because we don't need that car. We actually just need the we just need this nice little car, the nice little convertible. Again, it's just kind of rinse and repeat. Now he'll keep sending out his goons at you to try and kill you and stop you from taking him down. But with Pursuit Force, we ain't having any of that. Also, wow, okay then.
Yeah, don't worry about physics. They don't exist in Copland. Ooh, that was actually sick. So I actually delayed me losing meter there by hitting that civilian. And it actually cut the Justice jump short without getting rid of my whole meter.
And that's it.
2 hours, 54 seconds. That's really good time.
Pretty good for a submission video as well.
No kidding. This is this is a minute and a half behind world record. If I'm correct about that. Since world record is an hour 59:20 something.
Just to kind of prove that we did beat him. As you can see, that's the end of the road from Monster Tsushima. And for those that are
my
wondering,
timer got cut off.
Sequel.
That's embarrassing.
There was a sequel to this game for those that might be interested in potentially looking at running the sequel, and it was called Pursuit Force Extreme Justice. It released about 2 years after this one did. I think it was 2007 in... Is it 2007 everywhere? I'm not sure.
Unsure. I don't know much about the sequel. I never owned it. That's more your expertise.
That game is a lot longer and a lot more story driven. So there's 2 categories for that game. Again, that's a run for another time, but Extreme Justice has a run done, and that takes around 3.5 to 4 hours. That one is a lot more story driven. There's a lot, I would say it's a lot more slower in terms of story. So for example, that one allows you to pick missions same as this one does. However, this one's more the fast-paced action one, but it's quite difficult to get right, and then requires a lot of practice and fast strats and stuff. Whereas the sequel is kind of slow-paced, everything slows down, is a bit easier, and the on-foot action, in my opinion, is a bit easier to comprehend because you can take cover and things like that. It's still a very difficult game regardless, but it more or less gets more difficult towards the end. I guarantee that in between playing this game and playing the sequel, you probably have an easier time with the sequel, but it's longer. That's the only problem.
This game does have an insane difficulty spike when you, especially when you get to Don Capelli, and then it really spikes when you try to beat hardballs. So,
and especially towards the end with Whiplash and
so this
Tsushima.
is a really difficult, really punishing speed game. So many sections where you can lose so much time for seemingly very little reason. But it's so rewarding, and the speed strats for it are just really interesting to get into, and I highly recommend it if you're okay with a speed game that'll kick your teeth in.
The other thing to mention as well is that there isn't just any percent for this game, so there's 100%, which involves beating all cases on an A grade, to an A grade, I mean, and completing all of the races, which I believe, is it 15 or 16? 15. So you have to do all 15 races, win all 15 of those, and beat every case on A rank. That comes to around, I think, TG has a record, it's like 3 and a bit hours.
Yeah, but the thing was, on Risky Business, I died twice because I was an idiot, so I lost 8 minutes. So it's more like, if I were to go for it again, it would probably be like 2 hours 50, would be like a really good time in 100%. But the thing with 100% is that it's pretty much any percent. There's only, like, I counted like 7 to 8 levels where you really need to change up your strategies. And ironically, for 100%, you actually need to go slower. Like, for hardballs, you have to 4-cycle them to get an A rank, else you won't get enough points. So, that's fun. And for Vixens, you need to, instead of 2-cycle, you need to 5-cycle. It's ridiculous. Or is it 4? The point is, it's a lot. So, yeah, that is career mode for Pursuit Force. Thank you very much to Viper and also Hotline for jumping in and helping me talk about how great of a speed game this is.
There is also the gangs individually as speedruns as well. So, that's another thing.
Career mode is really daunting. It's 2 hours of really difficult missions back to back. But one of the best categories to get into, if you want to dip your foot into this game to see if you like it, is Warlords percent. They have the easiest group of 6 missions, and it really covers all the bases of strategies and stuff that you'd see all throughout the run, condensed into a 20-minute package. My record for that is a 19-something. 1916?
I thought it was like 1913 or 1911.
Well, 1939 was my old record, and then I beat it, and then I got like a 19-1 something. 1910 something. Anyways, highly recommend doing Warlords if you want to check this game out. That's going to do it for me on this stream. I want to thank you everybody for watching this and saying hello. Again, I've already said hello to, thank you to Viper and Hotline, so I'll just leave it at that. I don't like rambling long goodbyes. Have a great afternoon, everybody!